What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today here we are checking out the Emax Hawk 5 Sport. It is a 5-inch 210mm 4S or 6S FPV racer. It's got this sandwich frame configuration that I really like, and this thing comes in at about 265 grams without a battery. Comes in a bind and fly version with a Emax Tiny D8 FrSky receiver, which I really don't like because it doesn't give you that much distance. So I got here the PNP version, and I've installed my own receiver, and I've got a FrSky XM Plus receiver in here. Now this thing comes with two different styles of motors. This one is the ECO 2207 2400 kV motors. You can get this in the 1700 kV motors, so you can use a 6S battery. So this one here that I have here is the 4S configuration, and it has the mini Magnum 3 F4 flight controller, and the target is the Maytech F405 firmware. Now the ESCs are the Magnum 3S to 6S 35 amp BL Heli 32 ESCs, and the camera that we are given here is the Caddx Turbo Micro F2 with the 1200 TV line FPV camera, and it has a VTX that switches from 25 to 200 milliwatts by a push of a button, 37 channels, or it also comes with the smart audio built in, so you can change channels and power output and all that through your goggles via your transmitter. Comes with these Avon simulator props. On the product page it says you get 6 of the 5x3x3 and 6 of the 5x2.8x3, but the one that I got only came with 4 of the 5x3x3 and 4 5x2.8x3. Here I have the 5x3x3 props, and I'm going to test fly it with this props. Another day I'll try out the 5x2.8 props and see how that works. I'm going to fly it with a 4S 1300 milliamp size battery. They recommend you to use a 850 milliamp 4S battery, which I really don't have a good enough 4S 850 milliamp size battery, so I'm going to test it out with the 1300 milliamp 4S. So let's go for a little demo flight with the Emax Hawk 5 Sport. Alright, here we go with the demo flight of the Emax Hawk 5 Sport. Looking really nice. I got the 1300 milliamp 4S battery on here, and last night all I had to do was just unscrew these two nuts here, and the corresponding screw to hold the arm is on the bottom there, so you can flip over the canopy. Just unloosen these camera mounting screws as well, so you can flip it over, or you can just remove the whole thing, so much easier that way, and you are able to get inside and connect your receiver. Now it came already primed with receiver wires with a little 3-pin harness or a plug. I'm assuming that is made for the Emax supplied D8 FrSky receiver, so you can just plug and play, but that receiver doesn't have very good distance, so I had to solder on my XM Plus on here utilizing the same wire. Just cut the little dongle at the end, the plug at the end, and solder it directly to my XM Plus there, and we are ready to go. Just screw it back on. Comes with this nice long Emax branded Velcro strap for your battery, and all I did was put some zip ties to zip tie the antenna wires right onto the front arms, and we are good to go. Now one thing I don't really like about how it came, I didn't change it, but this XT60 connector comes off from the side of the ESC, and it gets routed to the back of the canopy there, and it is zip tied in the back right here. But when you plug it in, it still has enough room to move up and down, so you might get a prop strike. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out, route it underneath of the hind arms, and zip tie it to the hind arms, so when I plug it in, it just creates a little loop, so it won't have a prop strike on this thing. But we're going to test it out just like this right now. So let's go ahead and plug it in and power up the transmitter. I'm going to use my FrSky X9D Lite here. So power up the transmitter. There we go. I think all the switches are ready. And power up the quadcopter and push down the wires here in the back. All right, so let's go for a little demo flight. I did do a little preliminary hovering inside the garage, so this is my maiden flight. So let's check it out. Nice and quiet. Yeah, very smooth. Oh, nice floater. Okay, I got my throttle about 50% just to hover. That was a full throttle there. That's a full throttle. Full throttle there as well. Oh yeah, this thing has enough power, but not like a rocket, but good enough power. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring it in here. Nice and smooth, however. Okay, let's do a full-on punch out here. Yeah, it's got enough power, man. So you can get the 6S version of this quadcopter as well if you got 6S battery. I got a lot of 4S batteries, so I went with the 4S configuration here with the 2400 kV motors. Well, you can get the 1700 kV motor version, and you can also get the one that comes with different motors on this thing as well. That one costs a little bit more. Oh man, but this thing has enough power for me, no doubt. And this one is coming in under 200 bucks, so very, very nice pricing. Okay, let's do some flips here. Okay, all the parameters are just right out of the box, default parameters, so the PID values and everything is default, and it already comes with pre-adjusted PIDs, and they put a little note in the instruction manual telling you not to change the values, so I didn't change the values. Oh, very nice little quadcopter, guys, for under 200. I would go for the PNP version, so you can put your own receiver like a XM Plus or even an XSR. The D8 receiver that comes with it is the same one, I assume, that comes with the Emax Baby Hawk 4R Pro. So yeah, that one has a very low RSSI reading, even when I go over to that 100-meter bush. So I opted for the PNP version. So let's go and check it out with some FPV now. I'm going to bring it in for a landing here and see what kind of distance we get and how good it feels with FPV. Alright, here we go with our first FPV flight with the Emax Hawk 5 Sport. So let's go and check it out. Arming. Whoa, everything looked pink there for a minute. And the props are looking pink as well. So let's head on over to the 100-meter bush. And I'm getting some static here and there. I have my VTX set to F1, 200 milliwatt power output, and 150-meter bush. So there's a little bit of disturbance, a little static here, and we are right about 200 meters. So it's pretty decent, and you know, Emax always provides us with these dipole antennas. Works good enough, but does give you a lot of static here and there. If you want to change it out, you can put a little better VTX antenna than the one that it comes with. But so far it is looking pretty nice. The Caddx camera has very good color. I do like this kind of camera, which is kind of oversaturated. Feels good. Okay, the battery level is really low for some reason. And I've been flying for only about a minute, a little over a minute, and I'm already down to 14.3 or 14.2 rather. Now it went back up, but this is just hovering, and I'm throttling up only about 30% here. Nice and smooth. It's got enough power, but not crazy power, just enough for some maneuvers. Look at that, the battery level is going down really low, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it in, and perhaps maybe this is a bad battery or something. I want to go ahead and bring it in and switch out the battery and resume our FPV flight test here. Yeah, look at that. Everything is looking pink here, and there's no flowers on the field either. Okay, where's my landing pad? There you go. All right, here we go with our second FPV flight. New battery on here, so let's go and check it out. Okay, this battery is registering in a little higher, I think. And the wind is starting to kick in. It's supposed to get pretty gusty later on, so I'm out here early in the morning testing it out. So far, it is behaving really nice, like an Emax. And the tuning is just perfect, I think. Good enough anyways. And it is sounding good, it is feeling good. Yeah, the battery is down to that level once again. So maybe this thing just sucks up the juice here. And I'm running a 1300 milliamp battery. Wow. Yeah, very nice feeling to this quadcopter. Oh yeah, just get yourself a receiver, solder on your receiver, and bind it to your transmitter, and you are good to go. Everything is pre-tuned for you. Okay, full punch. And just sucks that battery down to 12 volts. Oh yeah, this thing is nice. So far, all of the Emax racers have been very, very nice to fly right out of the box. And this one here is no different. But it does suck up that battery really quick. Either that or both of my batteries were kind of shabby. Oh yeah, if you want to get yourself a nice pre-tuned 5-inch FPV racer, look no further than Emax baby, or Emax Hawk 5 Sport here. Very easy to fly, very easy to set it up. And I love the sandwich frame configuration. I think it gives it more structural integrity than just one plate on the bottom and no sandwich plate on top. But I do love the top plate configuration, like the Emax Hawk 5, the original Emax Hawk 5. So you get actually 3 plates instead of just 2. But this one has that plastic canopy, so kind of acts as the 3rd plate. But I would much rather have another 3rd carbon fiber plate on the top. You can mount all your camera needs on there and use whatever mounting you prefer to use. Oh yeah, nice and smooth, guys. Let me go ahead and bring it in for landing here. Down to 13 point something volts. So we get about 4 minutes of flight time, but yeah, it does suck that battery. All right, here we go with one more flight with the Emax Hawk 5 Sport. So I got a full charge on this battery. I just checked it. Yeah, the battery just goes down, man. Fully charged the battery, and the wind is starting to kick in. So when I start cruising, it goes up a little bit. So not much of a flight time with this one, even though I'm using a 1300 milliamp 4S China Hobby, which kind of equals to a 1500 milliamp battery from other brands. It's a pretty big size battery. Usually gives me about over 4 minutes of good flight time with the original Emax Hawk 5. So yeah, but this thing flies really nice. They do recommend you fly it with a 850 milliamp 4S. I don't know how much of a flight time you're going to get with the 850 milliamp, but it is lighter, so maybe that's what it's made for. That's why it's eating up a lot of battery, because it weighs more right now with the 1300. But look, 2 minutes only, and usually I try to bring it in right around here, 14 and a half. I do try to squeeze out a little bit more. And that is a full-on roll here with the provided rates. Good enough for me. I'm not really into fast rates anymore. I like that smoother flying, and the wind is just kicking in. And very precise, man. This thing is really nice and smooth and precise. And I do have the camera angle to the lowest point just about. This thing can get a pretty high camera angle, so you can rotate it up to, like, I don't know, beyond 60 maybe. That's way too high for me. I just need about a 25-30 degree at the highest. And yeah, the wind is just kicking in now. Is that good enough power? You can power loop. Beyond. Yeah, very nice and smooth. I'm really liking this quadcopter. Right out of the box, it is performing. I didn't do anything to it. Usually I try to give you guys the performance of the quadcopter right out of the box without tuning it, and this one is, yeah, good enough. You don't have to do anything. Alright, so I gotta bring it in again at right about 4 minutes of flight. And my battery level is below 14 volts, so I gotta go ahead and bring it in. Maybe you might want to adjust the camera as well. I think you can plug it in to a joystick harness and adjust the saturation, hue, and all that stuff. Alright, there you go, my quick review and test flight of the Emax Hawk 5 Sport. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you again next time.